Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Casas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
What's up? Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 238. This is the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI. Before we get going, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. You know the drill. Find us on YouTube on WEI's page. You can find the Play Tessie playlist there. Hit the thumbs up button on all of those videos and subscribe to Play Tessie over on YouTube. You can also find Play Tessie on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's at Play Tessie on every platform. So don't forget to subscribe. Here with Sammy, here with Pat, and it's another edition of Who Says No Wednesday.
Right now, poolside in Miami.
Hi, I'm Bo Bichette. This is Who Says No on Play Tessie.
Hell yeah. It's Who Says No Wednesday. And it's Sammy's turn for his first Who Says No of the trade deadline season. So, Sammy, what do you got for us today?
All right. I got the Red Sox trading for Padres pitcher Nick Pivetta. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
He's got the Red Sox trading for, drumroll please, Giants DH Rafael Devers.
You know, if the Red Sox can add a bat like Rafael Devers, I really think they could win 10 games in a row. And okay, seriously, this is a trade that I believe ends the Red Sox search for a rotation. You would have Garrett Crochet, trade acquisition, and then a combo of Bayo, Giolito, Fitz, Dobbins, Harrison, Houck, etc., etc. This guy that I'm about to say, he is the number 2, maybe a number 1 starting pitcher that the Red Sox need. Here's the trade. The Red Sox are trading, this is a lot, Jarren Duran, Richard Fitz, Blaze Jordan, and future number 1 prospect in the system, Payton Tolley, to the Washington Nationals for Mackenzie Gore. Now, sounds crazy. Why would the Nationals trade their superstar 26-year-old pitcher? Here's why. They called him up very early. The Nationals are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, and their window of contention is multiple years away. I think everyone agrees on that, especially in the NL East with the Mets, the Phillies. I'm sure the Braves will bounce back. The Marlins are playing better than people thought. So Nationals are not even remotely close. Mackenzie Gore is by far the best pitcher on the Nationals, but he's a free agent after the 2027 season, so he doesn't exactly fit the Nationals timeline. And with the 23rd highest payroll in Major League Baseball, I don't think the Nationals are going to extend him. So, to better fit the timeline, the Nationals get 2 Major League players, both who have more control than Mackenzie Gore. Jarren Duran, keep him, trade him, whatever, and Richard Fitz, along with Blaze Jordan, who will probably compete for their first base job, not with Nathaniel Lowe gone next year. And then Payton Tolley. Payton Tolley's the big piece here. If you're using the baseball trade value website, I don't think his value's updated. The next time that's updated, an MLB pipeline is updated, Payton Tolley's going to be a top between 1 to 5 starting pitcher prospect in baseball. He has a 70 grade fastball, which is unbelievable, from the left side. Scouts have his breaking ball, his slider, as a 55 to 60. It's inconsistent, but it has a crazy high ceiling. And then he also has a changeup, which is kind of like his show me pitch. When you have a 70 grade fastball and a 55 to 60 grade slider, you don't really need a great changeup. That's his third pitch. So he's going to be in that Chase Burns, Bubba Chandler level, top 25 overall, top handful for pitchers. And he fits the timeline of Washington's 2 top prospects, who are both pitchers, Jarlin Susana and Travis Sikora. That would line them up to create another 3-headed rotation monster, similar to what they had in 2019 when they won the World Series with Strasburg, Scherzer, and Corbin. Just this version is much younger, much cheaper, and would likely last longer. So that's why it makes sense for the Washington Nationals. Plus, they'd get Richard Fitz, who also fits that timeline, who I think is very underrated.
Yeah.
Here's why it makes sense for the Red Sox. 26-year-old Mackenzie Gore. He's one of the best left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. You just probably haven't heard much about him because he plays for the Washington Nationals, kind of like Garrett Crochet last year. 3.02 ERA, 2.91 FIP, absurd 134 ERA plus, and he strikes out over 11 per 9 innings. That's 90th percentile. Fastball sits above 95. Nasty curveball, has 3 other pitches, and he's not a free agent until 2028. Red Sox are primed to go on an extended run of contention. Not sure if you've been watching. They've won their last 10 games. Alex Bregman's leading the way. Garrett Crochet, he's in his prime. Meyer, Anthony, Campbell, they're all coming up. They're either in Major League Baseball or on the verge. Narvaez, Sedon, Willier, all in that 25-ish age range and getting better. Gore is 26 years old, like I said. Same age as Crochet. He would slot in right behind him. That would be the game 1, game 2 in the playoffs. And then the Red Sox would have 3 years to work out an extension with Mackenzie Gore. Here's the trade one more time. Mackenzie Gore to the Red Sox. Duran, Fitz, Tolle, Jordan to the Nationals. Crazy trade. Blockbuster. Who says no?
All right. I'll give you my thoughts here. I think this trade is a very similar, it's like a 2-teamed format of kind of like my Joe Ryan framework from last show. Because I think I had just the 2, Duran and Tolle, going to different teams. So value-wise, I think it makes sense. If you're going to get Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals, you're going to have to get super uncomfortable. I think this pretty much gets there. Value-wise, I think it works. The one question I have, though, is that if the Nationals are going to be trading 2.5 years of Mackenzie Gore, why do they want 3.5 years of Duran? Do you have to loop in a third team? Do they want to take back the haul of prospects like they kind of got for Juan Soto? Do they want to do that instead? Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you might need to loop someone else in.
Maybe, but you could reroute Duran. They have plenty of time to move Duran or keep him around, man. I mean, you do need a veteran on a contending team, and he's been kind of, sort of, a leader for the Red Sox. This would be a new situation for him, but it would not be a time-sensitive thing for the Nationals. I was going back and forth thinking about, could you include Duran here? Would they even want him? But with the amount of options they'd have, because their farm is, it's weird. At the top, it's really good. Then there's a big gap, and the next, like, 4, 5, 6 are all very young. So I figured Duran, keep him around, or you could move him. I think they'd probably keep him, honestly.
Pat, what do you think?
I love the target. I love Mackenzie Gore.
Me too. I should have said that. You picked a great target.
If they're willing to listen, you pay whatever the set price is. That being said, I'm in the same boat as Gordo. I don't think Duran makes sense in that sense. I think a guy like Yustinson Garcia, MLB ready, MLB ready, fits their timeline way better. And I think you have to add something else kind of on the back end. Like, I think something of like Tolle, Yustinson, Fitz, Blaze, and X gets the conversation started. I don't think they would want to take on the risk of trying to reroute Duran. But if they're willing, I think price-wise, you're a touch off. I think the Nationals say no, but not by a lot. Kind of like what I was doing last time with Lugo. Like, it's like right there, but there's like some finessing on the back end to kind of up it a touch.
You think they'd do it if you replace Duran with Wilyer Abreu?
I think they'd be a little more inclined.
They might.
I was going to say, I think the Nationals say no in the current format.
All right. Why don't we change it then? Why don't we change it? Why don't we do Wilyer, Tolle, Fitz, Blaze?
This poses the question. Because obviously, like, I think we all agree, and we've agreed on the show, if you can get a good package for Duran, and if you can get a good package for Wilyer, we'd rather see them trade Duran than Wilyer. But yes, if a package around Willie can get you Mackenzie Gore, and you can't get that level of pitcher using Duran, do you trade Willie?
I mean, if you have Garrett Crochet and Mackenzie Gore back to back, you have maybe the best 1-2 punch in Major League Baseball. That is disgusting. Mackenzie Gore, he's kind of on the same path as Garrett Crochet, except he didn't get traded. He had a okay 2024, kind of not okay. He had a good 2024 where you kind of saw some stuff. And then this year, it's like, okay, that's why this guy was the number one pitching prospect in the world a year or two ago. This makes sense. He's nasty. 11.3 Ks through 9. This guy's good.
He's very much on the Hunter Brown, Tarek Skubal train. That kind of.
Yeah.
And he's got the stuff to back it up.
Yeah, like you see flashes and you're like, oh, this kid might be something. And then the next thing you know, it just takes off. If you swap it out, Willier's got what, 4.5 years of control?
Yeah, 1 extra year compared to Duran.
So like that makes it a little bit, because then their outfield be James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Willier. He fits their time because Willier's what, 26?
Something like that. Mid-20s, yeah. He's very young.
Yeah. So he fits the timeline a little bit better. I think he's definitely a better
26, yeah.
A better piece of the Nationals. But I think it all boils down to if it's a complete blow up and they want MLB ready. MLB ready in terms of like prospect on the cusp rather than guy who's already burned through some service time. It's interesting. I still think the Nationals say no, but not by much.
It's
all right,
like,
so let's
compare the Nationals and the Rockies real quick. Or sorry, the Nationals and the White Sox, because we had this conversation when we were thinking of Garrett Crochet trade packages in the offseason. And we were like, would they want Willier Abreu? Would they want Cutter Crawford? Would they want, and like in the end, they didn't want players that burned through service time. I think the Nationals are a little bit different though, because they're
a little better.
They're going to build. They're guys that they're ready to build that next Nationals team that can compete around. Like James Wood specifically, like he's there. Every year that you're not competing around James Wood is a waste. Like he is that
Abrams
guy
too. CJ Abrams really good too.
too.
Cruz is up as well. That's why when I first thought about Mackenzie Gore, I'm like, there's no way they would move Mackenzie Gore. But think about it. They're not even close right now. 2020, when's the lockout going to be? 2027?
Yep.
Probably going to either miss the whole season or not have a season. So I think that probably factors in, unfortunately. I don't know. I could see the Nationals moving Mackenzie Gore, but it would take a lot. So for the graphic, I'll do it. I'll switch it. It's going to be Abreu, Tolle, Jordan, Fitz. And that would give them all the team control they want. Fits the timeline. Young guys. And then Red Sox fans, there you go. You get to keep Jarren Duran. We don't have to have all the drama. I think Jarren Duran is, fan-wise, like being a fan favorite. I think he's a bit ahead of Willier. I don't think that really matters when you're talking about a trade. But for podcasts and social media purposes, there you go, Red Sox fans. Keep them.
It's a really difficult question because I think so much of like who actually says no to this, it depends on so much. Like if the Red Sox can use Jarren Duran and other things to get a pitcher of the caliber of Mackenzie Gore, I think the Red Sox say no to this because I think they should keep Willier Abreu. If they can't, and like you have to, if you want that guy, that controllable number 2-ish kind of guy, and you have to use Willier, then yeah, I don't think the Red Sox would say no to this. I think they got to do whatever they can to get that caliber of arm. And then with the Nationals, yeah, I mean that's 4. Like I don't. There's 2 impact guys there, and then there's 1 big leaguer who I think has room for more. I don't know. Like Richard Fitz, it depends on who you ask. Like he's a good pitcher. There might be 3 impact players.
Richard Fitz is like 6'4", 6'5", sits mid to high 90s.
He's going to hit 100 in his career. He's valuable.
I think he's valuable. Yeah, he's valuable. And then Blaze Jordan, they don't really have. He's kind of he's the last piece of the trade, but he's Rule 5 eligible. That's why I put him in there. I don't think the Red Sox would protect him just because they have such a. It's kind of a weird situation, logjam. I don't know how much they believe in him, but if he were at the Nationals and he got traded over there, he would be competing for that first base job. I don't think they're bringing Nathaniel Lowe back. I don't know what's going on with Josh Bell.
He has a year and a half of control, though, doesn't he? Isn't Nathaniel Lowe under contract again for next year?
Not sure. Either way,
but while you look that up, another guy who's Rule 5 eligible, that's probably, I don't know, I wouldn't say a better fit than Blaze, but I think would have more value, is David Sandlin.
Oh, I'm sure the Nationals would prefer to have Sandlin. I don't know if at that point, now you've got the Red Sox sacrificing 4 guys that you know are big leaguers.
Plus, you gave him pitcher. You gave them a pitching prospect already with Tolle. Tolle's the big piece in this. If you're listening, you're like, who's Payton Tolley? You will know who Payton Tolley is soon enough. When Meyer and Anthony graduate prospect status, he is going to be hands down the number one prospect for the Red Sox. And like I said at the top of the show, this is a guy who's going to be a top 5 pitching prospect in the world, and they just drafted him last year, kind of unceremoniously drafted him because he was throwing 91. He also hit a little bit. They didn't really know how is he going to be. What's he going to do? But holy crap, he's the Christian Campbell in terms of rising a crazy amount. He could pitch in Major League Baseball this year, honestly. Like if he came up and pitched out of the bullpen, I could see that. I'd not super likely, but it wouldn't be crazy.
I have a question for you guys. And by the way, Nathaniel Lowe has next year under control too. My question for you is, the Nationals, as we know, the Red Sox swept them and they fired everybody that's ever worn their uniform or touched their front office. Everyone's gone. Does that impact? First of all, I don't even know who took over their front office. I know Miguel Cairo took over the manager job, and he was, I believe, managing their AAA team. I don't know who's leading their front office right now. Does that impact their potential to make a move so big, like trading a Mackenzie Gore?
Who is it definitely. GM? It's not their. It's not the GM's guy. You could say.
Mike DeBartolo.
Mike DeBartolo.
So he's leading their draft room, and that's actually an interesting wrinkle in this, because if you get a no package,
definitely helps in favor of the trade happening. Can I ask a question?
I think it's the opposite.
I think it's the opposite.
Oh no! See, because I think he could be like, "This isn't my guy. I don't mind trading him. We need to rebuild."
But are they going to let him trade their franchise guy, one of their franchise guys? If he's
we don't know. Yeah, if they're run like the Red Sox, then no. But we don't know how the Nationals operate.
Well, actually, the Red Sox traded for Josh Beckett with the Theo Epstein replacements. Remember that? He left in a gorilla suit, and then it was Ben Cherington and someone else traded for Josh Beckett and Mike Lowell, and then Theo comes back and retakes the job, and it wasn't even him that made the trade.
Yeah. No way to know. I just think that if the GM didn't draft Mackenzie Gore and he sees them as a team that needs to rebuild, not rebuild, but kind of push back the rebuild a bit, because they're not. I mean, the Soto trade they made was great, but they're so bad at everything else. They're going to waste James Wood and CJ Abrams, and Cruz is already up, like I said, and Josiah Gray. Forget about him. He's hurt, but that's another guy they have. So, I don't know. I could see the Nationals moving Gore. Question for you guys. Just in a vacuum, forget value. Who would you rather, Joe Ryan or Mackenzie Gore?
I would say Joe Ryan, just because there's a little bit more experience there. They're the same amount of team control. And who would I rather sign to an extension? Mackenzie Gore. But who do I think could be a better help for the Red Sox right now for the next 2.5 years? I'd feel a little bit better about Joe Ryan, but it's close. I honestly view them exactly the same.
I think I would lean Mackenzie Gore. I think I would.
Elaborate. What do you got?
The age, because Joe Ryan's 28?
29, I think.
29.
Yeah. So age is definitely a factor. So Mackenzie Gore's younger. I like Mackenzie Gore's stuff better in the velo plays. I want to say Joe Ryan's average fastball is 94.
His fastball, his fastball is super effective, but you're right. At the velocity, it might even be less than 94.
Yeah. And then I want to say Mackenzie sits high
95.3. Mackenzie Gore's 95.3. Let me Joe Ryan sits
93.4 this year.
Yeah. That's a pretty big difference.
Mackenzie
But his fastball run value for Joe Ryan is 99th percentile. So it's super effective.
It plays. And I like Mackenzie Gore's secondary stuff just a touch more than I do Joe Ryan.
I'm trying to find Mackenzie Gore's. Mackenzie Gore, fastball break. His breaking run value is 98th percentile. His fastball velocity is higher, but it's 67th percentile. Which
his fastball is not even his best pitch. His best pitch is his curveball, which is kind of interesting, because if you have Garrett Crochet pitching in a playoff scenario, Garrett Crochet pitches game 1. He's a lefty, fastball cutter kind of guy who mixes in the slider and the change. Then you have Mackenzie Gore, who's
Both work.
also a lefty, but completely different because he's throwing the hammer, that curveball, and it's a curveball. It's not a slider. It's a legit curveball. And it sits. That's like, it's a slow curve, 81.5 miles an hour, 14-mile-an-hour difference between that and his fastball. Nasty.
That's awesome.
Nasty.
Yeah, I honestly like Crochet to Gore, Crochet to Ryan. Both work. Like, I don't know how available either of these guys are, but whichever one is, the Red Sox should be exploring every avenue to try to, like, I'll say it every day I can until the deadline comes. The Red Sox should be exploring every avenue they possibly can to use their outfield surplus, even if they got to pay more, to get one of those guys. 2.5 years
This
of
is the
control,
guy.
pitcher.
This is the guy, though. You're done. You're done with your pitching. You've Crochet locked up. You got what, 3.5 years to figure out an extension with Mackenzie Gore. You already have Bayo locked up. Giolito wants to stick around, and then you have a handful of other guys. You Dobbins, Harrison, like I said, Houck. I would feel so good about the Red Sox pitching for the foreseeable future with pretty much no end in sight.
All right, to put a bow on this, Pat, Sammy, let's say the final trade, and we'll give our final, now that we've hashed it all out, had some time.
Final trade with an edit. It's Mackenzie Gore to the Red Sox, Wilyer Abreu, Richard Fitz, Payton Tolley, and Blaze Jordan to the Washington Nationals.
Pat, who says no?
I think the Nationals say no. I think they want a higher level prospect package more so than Willier. One quick thing too, I just looked it up. In terms of the Gore situation, he is a Scott Boras guy.
Ooh.
Chances of an extension, I think, would be small. Anyways, I still think Nationals say no, but I think it's not far off. I just don't think it's the right package.
Yeah, I think the value is right there. I think if anyone's going to say no, it's the Nationals, but I don't think it's like because the value is off. Like, I think it's just because are they going to trade Mackenzie Gore when they've got guys like James Wood, CJ Abrams, like they've got Dylan Cruz, like these guys are up, like they're not waiting for anything. So why necessarily would you trade the guy with 2.5 years of control? If they are willing to trade him, I think that might be as good of a package as, maybe not as good as they're going to get, but it's going to be among the good ones. And if it's neck and neck, the Red Sox should be willing to do whatever you need to do to push it over the finish line.
Yeah, take Trevor Williams back for him. $7 million next year. He stinks. There you go.
Is that right? They did that. Oh, no wonder they fired. What's his name? Mike Rizzo.
I had that in the trade. Initially, I had Trevor Williams going to the Red Sox, but then I figured if they're going to trade Mackenzie Gore, they're not going to attach a bad contract to him. But the only way they would move him is if they believed my theory from the beginning of the show, where I don't think his timeline lines up with the rest of their young talent. I think that he's going to be a free agent before they're ready to contend. Plus, you have to factor in the lockout, which feels a little imminent.
Do we know if Dylan Cruz is a Scott Boras guy? He seems like he would be.
I would imagine so.
Because James Wood is, and Mackenzie Gore is. The
Nationals, he is.
Oh, poor Nationals. All these guys are Boras guys. That's brutal.
Better get some young talent.
Yeah. Or actually, you better push in the chips now because none of these guys are signing extensions with you guys.
Go for it, Nats. Bye. The Nationals.
Bye. Bye, Nationals. Bye. How many games out of the NL East are they?
100.
All the games. They're back all the games. All right. That's going to do it for this edition of Who Says No on Play Tessie. We appreciate you guys tuning in for episode 237. Remember, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. Find us on WEI's YouTube channel. We've got the Play Tessie playlist there. You can find all our videos. Hit the thumbs up there and subscribe to WEI. And find us on the socials at Play Tessie on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. For Sammy, for Pat, for Joe producing. Sammy, very good job with your Who Says No today. I think that is a very high quality Who Says No. I'm glad you brought it to the table. Till next time. And by the way, next week's Who Says No is going to be the Joe Braverman Who Says No, the first since the famous Bo Bichette trade. We're very excited for that. But till next time, we'll have an episode for you guys coming in a couple of days. But till then, thanks for tuning in. Peace.